Yo,
We're
we have good skin. I'm just looking,
it's not bad. Yo,
yeah,
I'm gonna get
yeah.
laser in my head.
This is
Really?
great skin for someone that hasn't been doing their skin routine because of the move.
That. Mm.
What's your skin? Wait, what's your skin routine?
I'm in between my dailies right now, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna go with. But yeah, man, it's a whole thing.
That's crazy. I just take the bar soap after it goes between my cheeks
Oh
and just
my
go like. No, I'm kidding.
God. That's going in the intro. Hey,
It-
everybody, welcome to Modernhood. We are your three hosts. I'm Carlos.
Phil?
And I'm Hansel.
We're three dads, and we're here to talk dad things. Now, I'm pretty sure for the three of us, the moments are wildly different. I mean, for every dad, it's going to be wildly different. There'll be some overlap, I bet. Um, but I think it's a really integral part, especially for me, as the resident new dad of the group. I I didn't feel it for much longer than I thought I would have. So I was
Mm.
kind of surprised by that. But yeah, I'm curious about that
Is
conversation.
that
How
why? Like,
everyone.
I mean, obviously, there's no rhyme or reason, right? But like, you didn't feel it from the beginning, because you were expecting a specific feeling, because you were like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes expectations, like, hey, I'm supposed to feel this way, and I'm not feeling this way yet. Like, there's
Uh-huh.
something under the surface. You know what I mean?
Or did you not even have a moment to think,
Right.
oh, wait, is this happening? Because you were in
Correct.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think it was
Correct.
that.
Correct.
I think it was being in it, being in the space of there's a shit ton to learn, there's a shit ton to prepare. We need to get ready. We need to ready the house, buy the things, ensure that everything is in line with what we need. Um, so we just kind of hit the ground running and started preparing. And I don't think for a while it didn't like we didn't take a moment to sit and like let it sit with us. Um, Also in part because as we all know, nothing's a given. Um, we were being very practical and pragmatic. We didn't, there weren't any delusions on our part that it was like a given or a guarantee. So we were very intentional with like keeping ourselves in check, keeping ourselves realistic. And I think it definitely in part was that.
Right. Like,
Uh,
temper down the, excitement a little bit.
The
yeah, yeah.
grandeur. Oh,
Right.
like, wait a
And it
minute. You
wasn't even about tempering it. It was just
Fair enough.
not wanting things to like run wild or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
come into things because the process is not it's not a straightforward easy process for
And with the
everybody.
excitement bubbling
Yeah.
up also does this the worry, right? Like, it's not
Mm-hmm.
just one, it's not like you can say, hey, I'm just gonna let the excitement run wild, right? Without, like, when that's unchecked, so is the worry, right? Because it's a balance.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Phil, I hear you. I hear that story. And the reason I brought up that initial question of it's because you were going through it, I think I had sort of two reckonings, so to speak, because of our birthing story. I think I quickly realized, oh wait, I've created my own people. Like, oh, this is happening. There's no going back. I would say I think it does. For me, it starts there. Not after the birth. At the birth, it's like, okay, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. She doesn't know what she's doing. None of us really
Just
know what.
figuring it out.
Yeah, figuring it out. Mom's here. Great. We've got some help. You've done it, done it a few times. But it was, I think, wanting, and don't get me wrong, I love hospital staff, but I think wanting to attack the nurses and the doctors because I don't think they were listening to some of our needs and concerns. I think it was sitting out in the hallway because we ended up having to have like an emergency C-section and waiting by myself, just
Yeah.
kind of like sitting, and there's like no one, like literally no one around me, and I'm just waiting. They're like cutting through like 7 layers of like skin and muscle, and no one's telling you anything. You're just out there, just like I'm feeling utterly helpless. I
You know?
hope that when this child comes stateside, that I'm going to be able to protect her from whatever I'm feeling right now, this unease, this lack of control, like that I need to protect her from this type of feeling. And for me, it was in that moment, I was like, well, I guess I'm a father now. I mean, I guess this
It's like
is.
that Papa Bear like instinct kicking in.
Listen, I was ready to fight. I was like,
Who
oh,
wants some?
days
Janitor, you
before, I
get
didn't
here.
want to give Jazz medicine. I'm telling them like she's a nurse too. Like I found myself trying to like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
meet with them. Like we're not weird. We're not on drugs. We're coming in here because she's in pain. We've been in the hospital 4 days in a row, three at
Right,
night.
right, right.
The pain is so unbearable. You're not listening to what she's saying.
It's like just dismissive.
I know
Yeah,
Yeah.
how
yeah.
they treat black and brown women in those spaces, so I'm coming in there with that whole
Bag, yeah, yeah, yeah. Already on
Yep.
top.
not even baggage. Baggage is something you don't want, but like with
True,
that
true,
whole
true.
truth
Right,
and
right.
going, are they going to treat us funny? Because regardless of your
Uh-huh.
socioeconomic status, they don't care. They don't see that. All they see is you,
Who's in front of
Hmm.
you?
who's in front of
No,
them.
and especially like, oh, he 4 days back. Just here we go again. Here we go again, right? It's like, guys,
Hmm.
But that's when it turned on for me. Was that Papa Bear moment, and then we got into this whole thing with the lactation consultant. Like, I mean, this was a handsome woman. She came in. She was like, you should do this. And Jazz is like, hey, trust me, I've worked mom baby, I've had this experience, da 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 da. And what? You're gonna use a formula? We're like, look, we have some backup formula in case. She's just
all
been
right.
surgery, like major surgery. It's traumatic. What if she doesn't produce? I don't want that baby in the NICU because, her blood sugar's too low. And it got so bad, Jazz had to ask me to just go downstairs and get the car. All top nurses. Once again, they were going to probably ban me from that hospital, but I don't know what came over me. It wasn't rage. It was just like,
It's like, ah, no, yeah, not rage. Whereas that's more like, you're not listening to me. Pay attention.
listen to
Yeah,
me.
I mean, it's one of those things that this country, man, the healthcare system and the situations that we find ourselves in when we are in likely the most vulnerable situations any of us will likely be in, it's hard to feel supported in those environments sometimes. And that's unfortunate. That's fucking terrible.
Yeah, no, I mean, switching gears there a little bit. I guess my piece is less involved, with a third party, right? Like, let's say in this case, like the hospital staff, and more in two separate aspects from the kids' perspective, right? So I have three, 16, 14, and 11, and those are my kids, but I'm also a stepdad, right? So there's a intentionality, I think, when you're going into a relationship to be a step parent, is to be a bonus dad, right? Is to kind of make the conscious choice that you're
Bonus
doing this,
dad. I
right?
love that.
And specifically having a partner that allows you to make that choice, right? Because there's a lot of partners who say, hey, those are my kids, not your kids, right? You can't get involved.
Uh-huh.
And you kind of like, it is what it is. That's the nature of that relationship, for better or worse. In my scenario, I had full, autonomy, uh, unfettered, responsibility, if you will, for the kids. And if there's ever a disagreement, it was handled like any other partners with kids would be handled, behind closed doors, right? We would talk about, hey, this was, I didn't like this, I didn't like that, or vice versa. So that part of it is okay. I'm just being intentional, but I didn't start to feel it. And two instances come to mind. One is obviously, they're really young when I came into their lives, and when they're young, you have, let's say, you know, mom come in, get a little gift for Father's Day. But when they start to write the notes themselves, right? Even if it's just like, oh, it was amazing, or like, oh, thank you for everything you do, or like, it doesn't have to be, this whole essay, but that small act of, hey, this is how you truly feel through writing, or just express that way, especially, kids always joke around. They don't always, you know, click, what it means, some certain actions mean to parents, right? So I think that was one that hit me. The other one was actually a summer where I taught them how to ride a bike. And the idea of like, oh man, like they will forever remember this milestone moment where I helped them ride a bike, right? And I thought that was
Dude,
kind of
core
awesome.
memory.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah,
you said, I
exactly.
don't
So
know, I
that
was like,
was,
Core
unlocked.
memory.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oof.
So
That's awesome.
so that was kind of like, and I think, listen, I don't think I bring up two because I don't think you ever stop having those moments. Like, I think that you end up, as your kids grow, you have those realizations periodically, because all of a sudden, you know, you're seeing, you know, you Los who are a recent dad, all of a sudden, kindergarten graduation, you're like, holy, like I made that, right? Like that's my kid,
Mhm.
and then, first recital or sports game, like every single time, every core memory, you're like, oh my God, like that's my kid. That's awesome, right? Like, and you have that kind of re appreciation of the process, right? Because listen, it's hard.
Um, I love that you brought that up. So funny enough, that was part of why this topic was top of mind for me. Like, I think it is something that you continuously feel, you continuously experience, and I'm pretty sure we will feel for the rest of our lives for different milestones and different moments.
Correct.
So, like, my first one was leaving the hospital. there was It was such an uneventful moment that I was like,
Wait, what?
"What?" You know,
Well,
they were like,
I remember I was texting and you're like, yeah, they just let me walk out with her.
"Yeah." I was just like, "This feels odd." Like,
Funny.
there's no checks. No one makes sure
It's like
that
Wait,
like.
they didn't
TSA
check
has more
your car seat?
security. You know what I'm
They
saying?
didn't check your car seat?
Like,
They didn't check your car seat?
So you're required to get the car seat checked prior to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this old man that's retired, and he like walks out, he checks it. He's like, "Oh yeah, you guys are good. You guys got the anchors on. You're fine." And I was like, "Geez, what do you see?"
bro.
But even then, like that was the one thing. Um, we were and like the care that we received was amazing. I have no qualms with our hospital. Our experience was probably the best it could have been,
That's awesome.
which is great because that's exactly
Not
why we
always the
were where
case,
we
correct?
were. Exactly.
Totally.
Like we went there intentionally because we knew the healthcare system was great there and we had good experiences. Everything was fine. But it was just like day of, it was like, all right, cool. Yeah. Like you guys are going to be heading out. I forget. It was like at 10 a.m. or something. And it was just so like
Real.
uneventful and very much, and I'm sure they do it day in and day out. So like to them, it's whatever. Um, but to me, I was taking all the bags down. So like I had these moments of alone time, walking onto the elevator, being in my own head and thinking about like our life is forever changed from this moment forward. Like we are leaving this hospital as a family of three for the first time. And from here on out, we are a family of three. And like that just every time I was leaving with a new bag or a new thing, I was just like thinking about these things and being like, oh, it
There's
changes
three of us
everything.
now, right?
Yeah. And then I'm carrying the car seat to the car. And it was just like, like, all the nurses wave when you walk out or when you pass the nurses station. There was one nurse that like walked us to the elevator and came down and like saw us put her in and was like, great, you're good to go. And I'm like, this is so like it almost feels performative. I was like, this
I
is
will say
just
this,
okay.
Russo. I hear from those nurses, they say labor and delivery nurses are a special breed.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like we're like, is it perform? Apparently they love it. Like it doesn't matter how many babies they see in that unit. And like, no, I'm dead serious. I get all the ear hustling. They're like, this one is special. Each one to them is like a little bit of like, hey, this amazing thing just happened.
Yeah.
But yeah. But to your other
Which it
point,
is. It is.
yeah. But it's also just like, wait, I'm packing bags. I'm going in the car.
Well, I guess it's kind of like teachers, right? Where it's like it's a
Yeah.
calling, it's something that you enjoy. Like, like teachers, love the kids, the good ones, right? Like they get involved. But I said, well,
But yeah. I was
something
saying
that
all
you
of that to
said.
say, hold on. Just the drive home was the scariest drive of my life. I'm a confident driver. I've been driving since I was like
Oh,
14, 15
legit.
years old. But that first
Everything
drive home,
from cars to trucks.
well, I've driven everything. And yeah, terrifying.
It's like breaking
I
cold
was
sweat.
so aware of this tiny human life
Any
that
little bump, you're
has
like,
been
"Ooh."
alive for 3 days. And I'm just like,
You
yeah.
know, something you
In
said
that
struck
moment, I was
me.
like, fuck, I'm a dad.
No, I was gonna say something you said struck me, which was like how uneventful it was. And like it's funny because I'm sitting here thinking about like, yes, these, let's call it core memory moments, right? Or these temple moments with the bikes and stuff like that, and vacation with the kids. And yes, you remember those, but obviously we do, time sharing with the kids. But when it's, you know, when we're sitting at home at the couch and like I don't know, a random thought comes in, is usually the random things that one of them said during dinner, or like the dad joke that the other one kind of dropped on the ride to school. And it's like sometimes it's those unassuming moments that you end up remembering, which is why I think like people say like, hey, once the kids move out, right, you miss the noise, because it's just like the hubble and knowing the comfort of knowing them, knowing that they're there, and whether it be the random argument or the random joke or play fighting, like those little things sometimes leave a deeper kind of like impact, I think.
I'm
Hmm.
convinced my parents are still trying to get us to some extent move in, like or get closer. Like, so I feel you. Hans, I want to call out something that as a child who my parents divorced and I have a wonderful bonus mom. Um, I want to call out you and your partner. I'm not going to use names here, but I think it's a beautiful thing that you were given the space to do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I gather from a lot of parents, even those who are not a part of blended families, is that they don't always give that other partner the space to be a parent, to be a dad, to figure it out, um, regardless of how the family came together. And I think it makes, at least in my experience, makes a world of difference in terms of building those core memories and those being with you and not dependent
Hmm.
on your partner, their mother. That's your memory. That's something that
Well,
you did, dad.
it's funny you mentioned that, right? Because I'm also uh kid of divorced parents, and my mom took the opposite approach, right, where she was like, hey, you don't, like, I'll parent my kids, etc. And I think she was doing it as a sense of protection. I think she was doing it as a sense of like, maybe to ease the transition, I guess for us, like, look, he's not trying to be your dad kind of thing. But,
Hmm.
in retrospect, I wish she hadn't. And, now my bonus dad, right? Like, it took me after college to have be in in the shoes that I'm in now, to go back and intentionally build that kind of bond and relationship, because it's not like he didn't want to, right? Like, one thing is if a parent doesn't want, that partner doesn't want to, but when they do, right? Like that's when you become the difference between just being, my mom's husband, or my father's wife,
Yep.
to my bonus mom, my bonus dad, right? The intention of wanting to.
I mean, I think that goes true for parents and fathers generally.
True.
Like the
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Because there's
intention of
some people who don't
wanting,
want to be parents.
yeah. And it's even, whether or not again, I say it in life, like titles are titles, but you have to earn whether it
Oh,
is
100%.
mom, dad, uncle, aunt, like everyone assumes that they have a title because of whatever reason, but you can't. Like you need to earn that title regardless. We are, you know, very much we aren't taking blood oaths here. This isn't the
Yeah,
olden
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
times.
true.
But I
Uh,
think that that's part of it. I think it's beautiful that, Hansel, to your point, that your bonus dad like kept showing up. Your mom
Yeah.
might have taken that approach, but I mean, knowing your family, the dude stuck
He's always
around
there,
and
right? He's always
and
there.
did
He's at
his
the
part
parties.
within his capacity. And I think that that is pivotal to switching gears, but thinking about children, thinking about kids, young adults.
Let's see.
it is pivotal to have, um, people in those lives and in their lives that are choosing to show up, that are repeatedly coming back.
Hmm.
Um, because parents, carry the burden of day to day to day to day, but also it does take a community. And sometimes
You got to lean on,
you have to.
listen, like we had this conversation as when, even your own personal decision to relocate, right? Like, how do you
Mhm.
make sure you have that community, um, for yourself and for your kids, right? Because
Yeah.
that's you know, provides the opportunity for them to kind of develop those skills, build those bonds early on, those relationships. I was reading a story about how the unsung heroes of family are cousins because
Mm.
they aren't necessarily blood related. You kind of, they're not a direct sibling, right? Like a brother or sister, but they have the kind of a little bit of separation on the parental side, to give you enough kind of variety or a different shared experience. But you kind of you have to build those too, right? That those is like a baked in friend with training wheels, right? Where you have some cultural similarities, but you kind of develop those relationships. You're able to kind of, really foster some, ideally, right, some good habits, some good intentions from an extended family member. So it's a cool article. We'll put it up here on the pod, but it was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
My dad and I joked for years that, he and my mom, both coming from families of six, five or six or more kids, they had their siblings, right?
Mhm.
For us, it's only like two here, three here. Someone may have just had one kid. So those cousins were like instrumental in terms
Mhm.
of things I shouldn't have learned, things I needed to learn. That larger family, and I feel like, Hans, I don't know if this is like I don't know if you talked to Russo about this, but I feel like this is like a ploy, like to get me to move back east. It's been the big topic of conversation in the house is proximity,
Wait.
family.
Yeah.
The little one, it's now like 3.5, is going, "Where are my ladies?" That's what she refers to her cousins as, some of her cousins. Where are my ladies? Where are they? Can we go to their house? I'm like, they're 2,000 miles away. Or where's uncle?
Only 2,000 miles.
Only 2,000 miles. And there's this sense of like she knows conceptually, she's starting to understand what family can mean in a positive space. And, it's not enough. Like, it's great having mommy and daddy, but it's not the same as having like this army of people, who care about your well-being. There's that community, there's that group
Yep.
that's going to make sure you are, doing what you need to do. So yeah, there's so much importance there. So yeah,
Yeah. 100%.
yeah,
Dude,
working
it
towards
is. It is, but it isn't a ploy, Phil. Come
it.
back. Come back. We want you
Listen,
near. It is important.
sidebar, we've been making
Um,
moves actually related to that, legitimate ones
oh,
that have
okay.
some, yeah, some cost
We gonna need
implications.
some BTS after hours to
And it's
wrap
happening.
up that conversation.
Boy had to throw in his, his sweater, pink sweater, and think through some things.
So
Well,
yeah,
I
just
think
FYI, the article is from the Atlantic. The Great Cousin Decline is the article from the Atlantic, but
got
we'll
it.
we'll share it here.
Yeah, I mean, the relationships I have with my cousins are probably my strongest bonds. Those were my ride or dies.
Same.
Like we did
Well,
everything
me and my
together. We
brother
were
did.
up and down. Yeah. So like my two older siblings were, older than me and like out of the house a bit. My older brother went to like boarding school, and the older sister was living her life and trying to make her path in the world. So like we were around and hung out, but not much. But my cousins, man, spent our summers together, hung out.
Liam.
Yeah, those are the important relationships for sure. I think we have covered it. I
Yes, sir.
think I think ultimately you never stop feeling like, oh shit, I'm a dad. At least that's what I've noticed
Not
in
at
my
all.
very short amount of time. Um, I think one of the I'll end my part with there was this is a topic for another episode, but
Mm.
when
Preview.
the baby is going through something early on in life, and it's essentially, it reminds me of the old TV show Dinosaurs, where it's like, you're not the mama. It's like,
Not
no matter
mom.
what you do, yeah,
You're
I
not the
don't want
mom.
nothing to do with you in this moment. I want my mom. And it takes an adjustment period. But again, that's another episode. So we'll talk about it
Tune in
then.
next week for that one.
However,
A lot to talk
the
about on
other
that episode.
the other moment for me where it became very evident was like, oh shit, I'm a dad, was seeing her become afraid or like feel fear for the first time.
Mm.
And the immediate like gut instinctual reaction was turn around and run to dad. And like that moment, I was like, oh wow. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Being
like
counted on.
being counted on, being cool, like
Safety. Security.
they're seeking refuge, they're seeking safety, and like you're that first instinctual thought. There's something like primal and just innate that triggers in you.
I was told um, we had a nightmare. First time she's really like having legit nightmares.
Damn, man.
Daddy, you're strong. I saw a green monster. I want you to go in there and cut him. I'm like, okay,
Cool. Let's workshop this.
I got. I don't know how this is going to happen, but you don't worry about. I got
I
you.
got you.
To your point, Carlos, there's this element of like, yes, there's something that is. First, I was a little scared, like, shoot, can I actually do this? I don't know how I'm going to get in your dream to help you here. But that feeling that you are safe and that you are secure and that,
Mhm.
yeah, that stranger danger over there, like, I'm okay if you want to hide behind my leg.
Mhm.
That is the safest space for you to be. And I need you to understand that I will do everything within my power to protect you
Mhm.
from anyone or anything that is looking to harm you. Uh,
Yep.
and that it gets, I'll say this, in my experience, it gets even more interesting as they get older because there's a part of you is like, I can't be with you all
Correct.
the time.
All the
That's
time.
what I've been through. Going through. Yeah.
Man, listen,
And
I don't even
you're
want to talk
like,
about it.
a couple days, I was going to pull up at the daycare. And I'm not above drop kicking a 5-year-old, but I thought about it. I can't go to jail. I've got a future. Let's.
We're gonna have to cut Phil right there before
Yeah, we do not need
he has
to
to plead
add
the fifth.
evidence.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get it, bro. I was thinking about it the other day where we're coming up on that time where she'll probably have to do like daycare or, ideally school. But I was walking her to the playground the other day and saw all the kids in the daycare like summer program. And
Mm-hmm.
like I got a pang of anxiety
I'm like
about
picking my nails just
having to
thinking.
like drop her off and like not be present all day long, because I'm incredibly fortunate, and like we as a family are incredibly fortunate because we're from home. um you know that's definitely a privilege that we are thankful for and grateful for. And now I'm also seeing the adverseness of it, where it's like, oh fuck, the first time I send her out into the world alone is gonna suck. So,
I would say it
but
gets easier, but
no, go for it.
I don't think it. I still think about it on the regular. I
Oh.
every single day, and I do pickup and I do drop off. And Hansel, I know you're also going to because you're at an interesting age where it's like
Uh-huh.
there's all
Uh-huh.
these other stakes at play, and I'm just like,
Yep.
and my parents always tell me, like, no, it doesn't end. You will forever. My dad's like, you will forever. My dad's voice, you will forever be, worried
Yep.
out there. Do I need, who do I need to mess up? No one. We're not going
We're
to jail.
good. We're past.
We don't do
Uh,
that.
We don't do that anymore. We're good.
but I feel you guys. I feel you on that. It is, yeah, omnipresent.
Omnipresent for sure. I think on that note, we've talked about a few realizations, I think, so far this episode, but time for our mini segment. let's do a speed round. What were the dad realizations of the week?
My dad realization of the week is that my oldest makes a mean ham and cheese sandwich. And I'm like, man, I wish he was here this afternoon because I was craving. I was like, oof. I was like, we need to schedule this better. You know what I mean? I just need a little ham and cheese with mustard, and he puts a little special sauce thing situation. So yeah,
Special sauce.
Ooh.
special
Sounds like
sauce.
it's way better than your PB and
AKA
J.
whatever's in the fridge. Hey, whoa, 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 whoa! We will not entertain PB and J slander.
Let's kick
You
it
mean the
We're
over
gonna
to
the
keep,
you,
wrong way?
Phil.
I've
bro,
seen this man do this several times. He's
bro,
good with a hot dog though, but a PB&J sandwich, like I don't know.
bro,
Whose man's is this? Whose
Oh,
man?
Hansel's the Grizzly King?
bro.
Bruh.
How
Uh,
about you, Phil?
let's see. Ooh, the realization that I know it sounds super cliched, but that work
Oh,
email
they
will
all.
still be there. So go outside,
Mm,
Touch
go for
yep.
grass.
a walk, touch that grass, pick up the mulch that probably has dog pee on it. Let her ride around. I know, because everyone has dogs. Like, be okay if she's asking to do it. It's probably a good reason, and you probably need that break too. So,
Yep.
listen when they ask. You know, hear them out.
That's awesome, man. It's actually, it goes kind of hand in hand with mine. For this week, we we've gotten into the habit of hitting up a splash pad most mornings. It's an amazing splash pad that's by us. And the other morning, she, wraps up, drenched, soaking wet, sitting on a park bench. I had walked over to the Cuban restaurant. I got the parents, cortaditos, and then I got her a tostada, which is just a toast.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Cuban bread with butter for those that don't know. But on a 90 plus degree day, after playing in the splash pad, soaking wet, sitting on the bench, having this tostada, I just had this moment where I looked at her and I was like, you're living the
The
best
best.
summer of your life. And then Lily looks at me and she's like, she's living the first summer.
Ooh.
And that hit me like a
Listen,
ton of bricks
Yeah.
listen. You
because,
set the bar high, dude.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so yes, right? It's like, oh man, we kind of screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
But also, no, we're doing it right. And then the second thought was, this is pivotal and this is important because in theory, there'll be 17 more of these, right? And then after that, there's no given. And even the 17 number, there's no given because,
Correct.
you know,
Trying to make me cry.
I,
Like I'm not ready for this.
This is what we call depressing math.
it's
Yeah.
not depressing math. I look at it as reminding us all to be very intentional with the time that we have. Like, we have a very limited amount of time in the grand scheme of pictures. I want long and healthy lives for all of us. And I want to grow old and see all of our kids grow old as well. But especially with my background, the reality is that there is no given. And it's just being that intentional with
Yeah,
our
yeah, yeah.
time and making sure that, like Phil said, you take that moment, go touch grass, go step outside. They want to do something that to you in the moment doesn't make any damn sense.
Do it.
Maybe take that moment.
Yeah.
What are you gonna lose? I think that the go 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 and the hustle nature of things sometimes skew the perception and skew how we look at things. But you know,
Listen, that moment may be the one that you remember later. That seems unintentional. So on
exactly.
that,
Dude,
go outside, guys. That's the
Well,
takeaway.
that's the takeaway. I mean, just wanted to be inspirational for folks. Uh, but yeah, that is our official first episode We hope you have seen the pilot. If you have not, go check that out. This is what we do. We come together, we share, we talk, we laugh, we cry, and hopefully you do too. Hit us up, send us your questions, send us your thoughts, your comments. We would love to continue riffing with you all. This, for us, is about community, and it's about building that community. And you are part of that community. So stay tuned for the next one. We will be talking about more dad things, I'm sure. And on that note, we hope you all have a blessed and wonderful day.
Deuces.
Bye.